G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we are on Gorge to watch two Conqueror 3 players face off on the ranked ladder, and boy oh boy have we got some good ones because, well, you'll be familiar with the first one up in the north side of the map. The second one, however, he's a little bit of a newcomer to the channel, but don't worry, he's got a great name. You'll like it a lot. Anyway, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the north of the map in the color purple, playing as the Chinese today. It's Give You Anxiety. And on the south side of the map in the color pink, playing as the Japanese, it's 100 times vomiting. It's probably better interpreted as vomiting 100 times. It's a beautiful name. It's an absolutely lovely name. This is what I was planning on calling my daughter, but unfortunately it was a son, so we just had to go with vomiting one time. No, I don't even know where we are. Anyway, welcome. Welcome to a caster game. Let's try not to get too cursed here early on as the spearmen make their way across the map. Now, of course, we've got a fun matchup. The Japanese, the Chinese, both civilizations that we've seen increasingly look towards the castle age. Especially the Chinese. Not as often do we see them go for that second TC. So, look, we've got GUA in the game today, so I don't expect that we will see that anyways. He's normally more of a 1 TC kind of guy, but it does play into his playstyle in the sense that he will have access to the Song Dynasty. On the Japanese side, of course, we do like to see that fast castle as well, looking to prioritize the relics. We've got a lot of good landmarks, and hopefully we see a little bit of equality today, maybe. Well, it depends. It depends. We'll have to see exactly how we go with what the meta is looking like. But so far, the spearman's coming through. Quite an early spearman here, before the 2-minute mark. Going to be making its way down to the first of the villages on the gold mine. GUA going to pull out more villagers here as well, just because he realizes he might need a bit of assistance. Keep in mind, he wants the 200 gold, but he also needs gold for that Imperial official. So at least 235 gold is what he should be aiming for here. And we can see that he's already taken quite a bit off this mine. Needs about another 10 gold. That Vill's only gone back with a little bit of health. Second one also escapes with low health. But GUA has now technically taken enough. So he should be able to just pull the Vills off now. And indeed, that is the case. He's going to go underneath the town center. So he's going to be a little bit late here on the age up. But at least he can guarantee that he's got the gold. And all those vills now going to be moving back out here. This is a more common thing that we see, and I guess it is a little bit susceptible in the early game because this wasn't always the way that the Chinese was played. Typically, previously, you would open with the Imperial official, and then you would go into a whole bunch of villages, and that would allow you to be getting tax from your mill, and it would always just guarantee that even if you got knocked off the gold, that you were still going to have a way to age up and generate gold. But take a look at this. We've got a villager that's coming out. This has actually been spotted by GUA here, so he will know exactly what his opponent is up to. And we see 4 spears now coming out as well. Now, I don't know how I feel about an outpost out here. We do see it is going to be the Imperial Academy to the top side of the town center, so still got the Barbican in the back pocket. Doesn't have to anchor towards this north side. Keep that in mind that once this mining camp does go down, he doesn't really have a lot to do up here. So we see those villagers moving down. He's bringing them onto the straggler trees here. So we'll be looking to potentially get maybe an archery range up or 2. Maybe something else. That villager, what is that villager doing? That villager decided to do a little bit of gold gathering and now moving up towards the north. This could be a smart move. Moving up towards the deer. There's the outpost, though. Now, this could be a very painful outpost. Indeed, this is probably a really smart outpost because the key here is that there is a lot of carcasses in behind that mill or in front of that mill. So he's denying not only the gold, not only the deer, a little bit of the wood line, but mainly it's this mill, and you can see GUA bringing it back here. He's got to be very cautious about how he plays this. He's got to be confident that he can break this, otherwise he will have difficulties in this early feudal stage. Villagers on the bottom side. Keep in mind, this is without arrow slits. Once arrow slits comes through, it's going to be a guaranteed full exclusion off this mill, so he's definitely got to be looking. What way does he go? He's got a lot of villagers down here on the south side gathering up food, or rather wood. You can see one of them had a bit of a waddle, a little bit of a walk, a little bit too far away. No lumber camp put down, and there's the archery range as we expected. Now, of course, the archery range is going to do great against spears. The trouble is, by the time the range gets up, by the time the archers actually get out, the outpost is going to be completed. And so now GUA's got trouble because that's a villager that is going down right there. Manages to survive with 1 health. So we didn't, if that villager had garrisoned inside the outpost, that villager would have died. So it's the little details like that, you know, that you're not going to see at the 16, 17, 1800 level, but you will see at the 2k level. This villager going to come out, and you can see GUA's been completely idle off. This does do the right thing, makes the second mill. I think ideally you probably even could have made that second mill just over here on the berries and brought them out. Maybe with a little bit more foresight he could have been able to do that, but The Imperial official is out now, and the biggest trouble that you can have here is that your Imperial officials are going to start to take damage because they love to go and collect tax, and they love to go into dangerous places when they're doing it, and GUA is undoubtedly going to be making more Imperial officials, and every time they make their way over here, you know, it's only the one collection that they've got to make, but my fear is that they'll find a way to make it more than one. Meanwhile, back on the other side of our map, we've got our Japanese player here. Of course, we're not going to repeat his name again. We've said it enough. It's kind of a triggering word, man, isn't it? Like, I don't want to talk about it because it's kind of gross, but oh, isn't it? It's the worst feeling, man. It's the absolute worst feeling. Oh gosh, I remember this one. All right, story time. I remember this one time. I was about 11, 12. Nah, it wouldn't have been 12. I must have been younger than that, maybe 10 or 11. And my grandma, she'd just made a whole bunch of chocolate crackles, which in Australia is where we have like, they're called Cocoa Pops, which is like a Rice Krispie, but it's a chocolate Rice Krispie. And anyway, she'd put them and like melded them together with actual chocolate. And anyway, she knew I loved them, so she made 2 batches of them. Anyway, I ate 2 batches of chocolate crackles, and I spent like the next 3 hours just vomiting up brown chocolate crackers. Sorry, why are we doing this? Why this is a terrible cast. I'm sorry. Why have I done this to you guys? We got the farmhouse up towards the north. Okay, no more talk. We're not going to cast this guy again until you change your name, son. We're not changing you. We're not casting your games. Just simply because it's not fun. Not fun. It's fine for me, but look, I'm a little bit more. What's the word? I'm a little bit more resilient than the average individual when it comes to that kind of thing. Age up has now come through. We do see the Kura storehouse is up. A couple more farms going to be coming in shortly. Stable up as well. Horseman going to be the way. Of course, he knows the archery range is out. Scouted these archers coming across the map, idling him out on the berries for the moment. But of course, with the Kura storehouse here and all the sheep back here, he'll be absolutely fine. So I think GUA, he's in a little bit of trouble at the moment. He needs to find a way to break this, and we now see that the arrow slits are coming through. There's the potential also for fortification. Just keep in mind that you are going to be generating that gold. But one thing to note is this gold towards the front is still potentially targetable. Now, interestingly, GUA's got the Barbican, but where is it? It's down over towards the board. It's going for a Barbican. The Barbican is back. It's been a while since we've seen a Barbican, but I think this is a good map for it, right? Because not only are you securing the boar, and he's brought the 8 vills as well, so this is perfect for the boar. A little bit of difficulties early on with his food, and as well being locked out of the deer behind his base. It's a bit of a tough outpost, but the boar play is definitely a smart one. He's going to bring it all the way back here. GUA, you may potentially lose it. That Vill, oh, well done. On the micro, well done. Let's see. Nails it. Good job, GUA. Doesn't lose a villager. Honestly, if you can have a go without losing villagers against a boar, you're having a good time. But yeah, this is a great position on the Barbican. I just want to give GUA right now, like a hats off, because Barbican positioning can be a bit tough, right? Like, there's a couple of factors that you need to consider when it comes to placing your Barbican. One of the big ones for me is like securing resources. I think it's quite important to do that. And not only does he secure the boar here, but he's also picked up this gold vein. Greatly positioned it for the stone as well, and it's just a really good position out here. Allows him to leverage this Barbican quite effectively, locks down a lot of area, and we can now see that the scouts will spot this. Immediately turns around and goes, okay, not interested, not interested. I know you've got the boar out there, but yeah, not going to take it. Now the question for me is, where do we see the Japanese go from here? And it looks like we may have our answer. He could look to potentially get some more units out with a double racks coming in. I was going to say that's a bit weird. I'm glad that he cancelled it, because that to me doesn't make sense, right? You see the enemy go for a Barbican, and you see them mainly making archers. Doesn't really make sense to go into this. I think the best play here is definitely going castle, looking to go into mounted samurai, looking to try and get your relics. And then from there, you could even look to go imp if you wanted to, especially against the Chinese. I mean, the Chinese are more aggressive, so maybe not a good idea. But we'll ride back on board with GUA. You can see he is struggling a little bit over on this side. He's also picking up the survival techniques upgrade from the burning mill. He should be able to get it through. I'm just fearful about that taxation that he's going to get in on that side. It's also a slower upgrade as well, because it's not being supervised by this mill down here. But indeed, it does come through. 64 gold. But he may potentially lose it. We can see... Oh, no, there's a villager. He's coming out to repair, and he's looking to pick it up. We'll lose the villager. The mistakes. The mistakes. We didn't need to heal this up. We could have just left it, and we could have done the survival techniques in here, but it's one of those things that, you know, GUA obviously was fighting for it. But unfortunately, it was one of those things where it's like, do you really need to? Age up about to be coming through on the other side, though. No real surprise here. GUA going to be doing the same thing. So both players thinking about it. And now on the back of the base, we do have that double stable coming in. We do have the racks. So is there the potential to see a Temple of Equality here? Let's take a look and see what the play is. I would love to see it. I would love to. It's just going to be the floating gate, though. We should have known it. We should have known it was going to be the floating gate. I was a bit excited by the fact that we see the double stable, and normally, like, floating gate works very well with even just like a single production building, especially when you're thinking about mounted samurai. But we do see spears now coming out as well for GUA, and a battering ram looking to finally clear this outpost. It's been a tough fight here for GUA. He's lost a lot out here. Multiple villages, if I remember correctly. And, well, he's just not had a pretty time early on. It's really upset him. And I think that's part of the trouble when you've got this kind of aggression early on, is that it's not easy to solve this problem, right? Like, you can definitely play around it. Like, I go back all the way to the very first big tournament that we had that was a LAN. And the issue that we were having at the time was just how powerful this early pressure was. Speaking of early pressure, GUA a little bit late to react to this early pressure as the castle age does come through. GUA going to be aging up any second as well. But yeah, I remember Marine Lord in particular with his French was notoriously good. And even he didn't have an answer. And it wasn't until the Mister played that he showed everybody the solution, where it was you would age up with your school of cavalry and build a whole bunch of scouts and archers, and you'd bust the outpost with the scouts using all the siege damage, and the archers would be able to kill the spears. That was the general idea. But of course, it requires a little bit more investment. And then from there, he'd like parlay that into a professional scouts play, which I thought was very, very cool. But, you know, Mister, he's out there all the day on his tractor, just thinking about strategies, that guy. I hope he's doing well. It's been a while since I've talked to him, I've seen him. I think he was playing AOM, actually. I wonder how AOM's doing. I haven't looked at the numbers recently. I kind of missed that game. I'll be honest with you. AOM was good fun. I would have loved to have been able to create content for it. Let's check in now. Age up about to come through on the side of GUA. Upgrades as well. Looking to upgrade villages, looking to upgrade Imperial officials, get that double broad axe in as well. Spears now coming through. Make a decent connection. That's the first of them going down. Second one going to go down here. Oh, he hits the scout and gets the horseman. So able to take out quite a decent chunk of this raiding force, but expect there to be something a little bit different on the way shortly, as we do now start to see samurai coming through. Now, this is an interesting decision, the samurai. I wonder why the samurai is the choice here, because I feel like this is such an easy counter, right? Like, spearman crossbow is going to be pretty standard for GUA once he's aged up. And to just be going into samurai, like, it doesn't really give you a whole lot of leverage. If you're mounted samurai, you've got speed, you've got the ability to raid. Like this right here, you can see the vills do manage to escape, get inside. He's all safe. So I find it a bit curious that you just like go straight up. Oh, is that why? We've got a little bit of a switch up. He's moving into Honor Begeisha as well. So a number of Honor Begeisha out. Now we do hear relics getting picked up as well. One is safely picked up by the monk. Let's see if we can spot it out. There he is. He's on the way back. Second monk has now come out. There's the Shinto shrine in the back. You can hear there's the Shinto priest. He's putting them in the farmhouses. Very interesting decision. 69 food a minute. A nice amount of food. I don't think I've ever seen anybody prioritize farmhouses. Is this normal meta for the Japanese, or have I just been asleep for a while? Maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe it is the normal meta for the Japanese, and I've just been asleep for a while. Vill's now taking out the battering ram. Bit of a waste of a battering ram. Obviously trying to get some kind of value there. In the end, on the south side, the spearman and arch is able to overwhelm the enemy. Lance is also coming out. And where do the Japanese go from here? Because, like, the way I'm thinking about it, I mean, don't get me wrong, Honor Begeisha is a pretty difficult to deal with infantry unit, especially when paired with the samurai. But I feel like this early on, especially after you know that your enemy has gone into a lot of archers in the feudal age, like they've already kind of got the answer for you. So adding in like spearman and crossbow, which is exactly what GUA's done, he should just be able to easily slice this apart without too much of a hassle. Also, with the lancers now coming out, they're going to be very effective at dealing with this. But we're right on board now on that south side, because we do see a new unit coming out of the roster. It's going to be the mounted samurai, which is definitely something that I think opening up with makes a lot of sense. Only the one relic picked up at the moment, by the way. We've got one to the north, one to the middle of the map, another to the middle, and then another down to the bottom. So four equally positioned relics. And up towards the top side, GUA does spot out the enemy, knows exactly what's happening. You can see all these units. They're going to speed away the Katana Bannerman there to assist them, provide that little bit of extra damage, but the archer's going to start ticking down the health bars of those Honor Begeisha. The crossbows joining in, and GUA deflecting the enemy once again. To the south, the Lancer, able to neutralize the Sacred Site. Interesting that the Sacred Site was taken this early. We can see there's the villagers inside, but they've run into a spearman. Unfortunately, that Lancer's going to go down as well for GUA. He's doing a good job on the top side. Now regrouping. He's decided he's going to fight it. I think he's just going to end up throwing away his units as they do once again make a clash, and we'll ride on board with 100 times vomiting. And sorry, it's a terrible name. It really is. It's not a good name. Candidate for the worst name of the year? Yes. I think it's got to be this guy. We won't cast him again, all right? Unless there's overwhelming support to cast the guy whose name is this. I can't imagine it, though. You guys wouldn't be particularly enthused by a name like that. Maybe if it was like 100 times... You know what? I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to let you think what I was going to say right there. All right, spearmen together with the samurais. Chasing down the Lancer. A lot of units down here. Definitely a little bit too much. Probably only need those mounted samurais, but you can see him bringing back these relics. This is going to be number 3. He's already got 2 of them safely stored away on that south side. And take a look at this. Only the remaining relics down here towards the south position, which he's obviously got pretty close proximity to. And now GUA looking to put on the pressure. A little bit of difficulty seeing the difference between the colors on these units, but just know you've got one Japanese versus one Chinese, so the units do stand out, or at least the differences between them despite the colors. In spite of the colors. Towards the south, Lancer continuing to look. He's trying to find anything down there that he can. And GUA now starting to put on the pressure. Look at the amount of units he's got in queue here. Almost double digits when it comes to that. Compared to his opponent, 9 on a Bageisha. That's it. And there's a lot of archers here, so he's going to be able to kite for days. Able to now take out the forward position. Rax is now going to be starting to be burned down on a Bageisha, making a bit of a runway here. GUA transitioning villages out over onto the berries here. We've got that Song Dynasty through, so he could look to transition into farms shortly as well. Keep that in mind, but I think he's going to be quite happy here with himself. He's still got quite a bit of food on the map. I say quite a bit of food. He's got the berries as well that he'll be able to fall back on, but definitely going to need to do it sooner or later. Normally about the 17-minute mark is when I find it's going to happen. And speaking of 17 minutes, let's switch it over. Now, the farm transition has well and truly happened for his Japanese opponent. Of course, the Kura Storehouse does that naturally for you. Still one of my favorite landmarks. I really like the design of the Kura Storehouse. Just progressively adding in the farms is so lovely. Now, those archers with their veterancy upgrade should be able to kite this problem away. You can see he's having a little bit of trouble here, having to mix in the shots, spears, as well as the samurai coming in from the south. And as long as he keeps this distance, he should be A-OK GUA. Now, the Katana Benaman, rather the Uma Benaman, could be looking to try and hit some big shots here. Mounted Samurai coming through as well. GUA streaming in spears. Needs a little bit more. No veterancy just yet for them. It's on the way, though. And GUA easily able to clean up this infantry position. This is where I really think having more Mounted Samurai could have made a lot of sense. Mounted Samurai together with the Honor Bageisha, a notorious combo. Always throw in some horsemen afterwards if there's a lot of ranged units out there, but normally it's a great solution to this early castle age problem to the south, though. Relic gets denied. Or at least the Wallalol gets denied. GUA now taking out a second Rax on the front. And he continues to really hoard the opponent. Like, it is almost like we're watching... It's almost like we're watching a movie. Starship Troopers. You guys remember Starship Troopers? Wasn't that amazing? That was such a good... You know, we've talked a lot about when the younger days. Let me give you a few more. I remember I watched Starship Troopers when I think I was 12 years old when I watched that. Maybe a bit younger, maybe 10, 11, somewhere in that region. And I was good with it. I was like, yeah, that was great, Dad. I love that movie. And then Dad was like, hey, you want to watch another movie about aliens? I was like, yeah. And so anyway, he put on Aliens. And I was like, show me the scariest one, Dad. So he did it. Meanwhile, actually, I remember I was 12 years old. I was about to turn 13 because I just gone to high school. And I remember being so relieved when it was daytime because I knew the aliens couldn't get me in the daytime. It was only at the nighttime. Oh, man, that was so scary. When they were, like, they're in the roof. Oh, God. Anyway. that's a lesson I've learnt for my kids. A lot of Mounted Samurai here, though. Going to be met. You can see GUA having a bit of trouble here. Keeping the spears in the same control group as the archers means the archers get sent to the back. Now he does the right thing and correctly moves them back. But there's a distinct lack of crossbows, or at least on the front line, the crossbows have all been eaten. You can see there's a couple of them blending in here. It says he's got 11 out. I got no idea exactly where they are. And a beautiful control coming out from his opponent as he manages to just run down with the Honor Bageisha together with the Mounted Samurai. And now we can see that's exactly... He's going Veteran Samurai together with the Mounted Samurai. Interesting decision. But still, GUA struggling to hold this, despite the fact that it's really just made up of hardened units at this point, where you could pretty much just spam out those crossbows. You can see GUA still just sprinkling in units of every single kind. But yeah, I remember, I think it was the third Aliens? I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. It took me like 3 or 4 days before I stopped having nightmares. It was so hard for me to sleep as well. I remember being so scared in my bed. Anyway, I won't be showing my children Aliens anytime soon. I'll wait. They can wait till they're 18 for that one. I will. We won't consent. Anyway, upgrades coming through here on the side of the Japanese. Even more upgrades on the way, and you can see GUA starting to pull ahead with that count on the Vils. However, have a look at the relic count. GUA ignoring it completely. 2 and 2 in the Shinto Shrine, and 1 more on the way back. Where is it? There it is, and a second TC now in the back of the base here for the Japanese. So quite the economy that is going to be building up here. I think from the Japanese side, all you really need to do now is just kind of hold on. You got the relics, you got the double TC, and that's pretty much it. You will catch up on Vil count. You know your opponent's Song Dynasty. The main thing I'd be scared about right now is a big timing push coming in with crossbow, spear, Nesta Bees. And I think that that could be really killer, just because the Nesta Bees will be so effective in dealing with that big central mass of infantry. So that could be largely problematic. So that would be my main precaution at the moment, just be thinking about what's the best way to counter that, because realistically, as long as the Japanese doesn't die within the next 5 to 10 minutes, he should be okay here, or lose a lot of villagers, one of the two. He should be okay, because GUA, just remember, second TC, it's not really... He can count to 1 TC, 1 stable, 1 racks, 1 archery range. Second TC, a little bit harder. And have a look at this, Mounted Samurai from the Stealth Forest. GUA didn't see it coming, and neither did we. Beautiful. Beautiful attack from the Stealth Forest. Incredibly well played there. It was just at point blank. They came charging out, and now easily able to clean this up. Very well played, and that makes it difficult for GUA now in this game. If we think about it, you know, 2 trains, one of them has got decent momentum, but it's just going the same speed. Meanwhile, the second train, also coming along the tracks, a little bit different tracks, but, you know, running parallel to the same tracks that this one is on. Much faster, and that is, of course, that economy that's coming through. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, speaking of economy, GUA looking to expand out that farming economy, finally transitioning in at about 22, 23 minutes. So quite a late transition here, despite playing such a food-centric build and focus. I guess the consequence of not going into that second TC is you don't need all the food for the villagers. But now spears and the crossbow numbers looking a little bit healthier. Onabagation could be the trouble here. Not a whole lot of them at the moment. Just doing a little bit of spinning. You can see at the moment the main focus is indeed just going to be crossbow together with the spears. But I think GUA fears that he may have given a little bit of a tell there to his opponent, and subsequently has invested in a whole bunch of archers and just says, you know what, maybe we need to make archers just in case more Bagatia do come out, because my opponent could just switch to 100% Bagatia and he would absolutely destroy me. So that's always something that you really want to be cautious of when fighting the Japanese, is that switch. But now towards that south side, got ourselves a little bit more raiding on the way. We ride on board with GUA. He spots this out, sees it coming, begins to move down towards the south. Ideally, yeah, this is exactly what he wants to do. You want to get these walls up, try and segment this, compartmentalize the raid, compartmentalize the base, so that if you get any parts of it that are exposed, that it won't be hopefully for too long. And his opponent looks like he's just backed on out, so knows exactly what GUA is about, knows that the army is probably somewhere in that region. Did you guys just see that monk just disappear? He just vanished into thin air. He thought he was a pilgrim for a second. He was just like, peace, and then just left. Poor guy. Numbers continuing to look pretty good here. No real signs of Imperial Age yet for either player. 24 minutes into this game, still both investing heavily. We've had quite a bit of aggression out. I still think the highlight for me this game had to be that Stealth Forest exposure of the Mounted Samurai coming through. That was kind of wild. I did not expect to see them coming in on that angle. Now GUA really looking to stack up quite a bit of army here. Have a look at the military numbers. Pretty much even Stevens at this point. Villager number, even Steven as well. Spears now going to just come out. They're just marching. They're just, hey, come on, let's do it. The Mounted Samurais were charging, but I think that the Japanese opponent thought the GUA was baiting and that he was going to do the attack move right at the last second. He wasn't. He would have taken the shots to the face. Nesta B doesn't misfire. I don't know exactly what happened there, but it looks like he's going to be doing work now. GUA, this is exactly what he needs to be doing, fighting in this position. It's a beautiful little spot. We do see a bit of a raid up towards the north as well. He's going to get picked up, a couple of reinforcements on the way, but the main front, you can see for GUA, is looking very solid, very healthy here. continuing to push forward. Only that one nest to be. He's got 3 more in queue. Exactly what he needs. This is a perfect combination. This is a perfect composition for him. The biggest problem I've got is that he left it a little bit too late. I think if he'd gone for the knobs a bit earlier, this is problematic. The Honorable Geisha running through your base, that is a big problem. And now GUA does spot this out. Vil's not yet to move. First one going to get sliced and diced. Over towards the west, he's also got trouble making his way across. Vils are moving back, but unfortunately, it's through the line of Honorable Geisha, and GUA going to start losing Vils very quickly, losing 10 now. Honorable Geisha, unfortunately, running into a whole bunch of army, needs to go north to cut them off. Cannot allow these guys to get further into the base, but it looks like, fortunately, they're just going to be going down south. He's re-walled them in. That's not the play that you want to go for, because then, you know, it's one of those... Oh, these Geisha are going to... These Geisha are going to be problematic, aren't they? Oh, no. Japanese players just running through GUA's base at this stage. This is where it really gets hard, because as the Chinese, all you want to do is you want to have one cohesive front. You just want to have one big fight at the front and allow your nest of bees to get really good value in. And that's not what GUA's got right now. He's got little bits and bobs all throughout his base, playing whack-a-mole with the Japanese army. Meanwhile, Geisha will get cleaned up. Plenty of spears back here, but the villagers potentially exposed. Next to be coming down from that astronomical clock tower. More reinforcements coming through. He's doing a good job. He's got Vils nearby as well if he wants to repair. I'd definitely be pulling these Vils, but it looks like the number of infantry units is kind of wild here. He was a little bit late on the Vil pull, unfortunately. Not able to find it. More and more infantry. He's not able to really kite and slice and dice, kite and fight. Not really able to kite here, but doesn't really need to. Able to hold the front, and GUA doing a decent job of managing to keep those ranged numbers up. And it's really like a bit of a bloodbath at the moment, the way that we're witnessing it. The thing that I get scared about most is for GUA right now, all he needs to do is just walk down mid, drop 6 or 7 battering rams and make sure he's got a nest of B or 2 to follow him up. Continue reinforcing, maybe do a wall or 2 behind. Oh my god. Oh my god, he's lost 28 Vils. He's losing so many villages. This is the problem. This is the trouble. Second town center. Second town center. For GUA, 27 minutes in. Okay, let me just calculate here. 46, 27, 32. Yep, this is the first time he's ever done this. A second town center. I don't know what to say. Welcome, GUA. Welcome to the second town center meta. Normally we see these come in a bit earlier, but we'll still take 27 minutes. So, the good news is, he's in Song Dynasty still, which means he's going to be training villagers very fast. He's got a lot of food stacked up, so he's able to just build a whole bunch of them, and this is definitely the right call, especially when you consider he has lost a lot of villagers, so he needs to rebuild that villager count. The only trouble is, his opponent is significantly ahead of where he is. So in GUA's mind, he's thinking to himself, okay, I can't be that far behind, just because I had Song Dynasty. So I was already ahead. I was probably like 15, 20, 25 Vils ahead, somewhere in that region. And I know I've lost a lot, but I'm still doing pretty good here. I'm probably on par with him. The trouble is, he's on a second TC, and he's been on a second TC for quite a while. In fact, he's on a third TC. And that just complicates things even further, because now what's going to happen is that economy is going to stay ahead even further. It's going to mean that there is a prospect of Imperial just around the corner. It is going to be happening soon. When you've got this many farms, by the way, can we just talk about some of the most beautiful base building we have ever witnessed from a player? His name might be terrible. His name might be absolutely disgusting. You've never seen such beautiful base building, though. Look at this. It is just, this is, you know, one of the things that shits me off about the best players in the world is when they're dropping down farms, it looks like they don't know how to do it. But this is just absolutely perfect. Everything is at a minimum 1 tile away from drop-off. And that is exactly how you do it. Speaking of drop-off, though, it looks like the Vil count for GUA is about to experience a bit of a drop-off. He's here in the middle. The problem I'm seeing is that there's a distinct lack of siege here for him. Stone wall's going to come through. Stone wall going to come... Oh, I don't know about that stone wall. This one's looking good. Now behind the scenes, more units come through. I can't believe this. This is absolutely wild. GUA just really getting ripped apart on every single angle. He's thinking to himself, how did that one happen? GUA, I wish I knew. I feel, yeah, unfortunately you've walled straight like to the village, and it's just... It's one of those little things. Vil count minus 40. Let's see how much more that minus 40 becomes in a little bit. GUA going to do his best to rebuild. But yeah, I like, one of the big pet peeves of mine, like this right here is the furthest away that a farm is. You know, because sometimes we see like top level players that are like 4 farms deep on a mill, where they just have like a single mill and it's like a ring of 4 farms around it. And it's like, it's driving me crazy. It's like, just Do you realize the efficiency drop you've got there, my friend? Sure, your micro being amazing. Your micro might be amazing. You might be one of the best in the world, but this is basic stuff. You know, we Castle of the Crow. Castle of the Crow. Talisman. Talisman could tell you a thing or two about base building, my friend. But this right here, I mean, this is just the epitome of a Japanese base. Can we just talk about absolute Giga Chad base building right here? We are witnessing it. Let's go check in on that other side of the map. See how GUA is doing. He's cleaned up all of the enemy forces. Now, he's got a question to answer here. Does he look to stay Castle Age, or does he go Imp? I am definitely a big fan of Imp. The trouble that you're going to have with Imp is how do you afford it, right? You've just lost a whole bunch of villagers, so your economy's not as strong as it should be. At this point, you should be 130 vil maxed easily, just pumping. But that's not the case for him. He's only sitting on 80 vils, so it's a little bit lower than where it should be. I say a little bit. It's 50 vils lower than it should be. But the good news is he is rebuilding. Painful to see. Is he... Wait, is he going Imp and he's just saving? No. He was just idle. Okay, we're fine. So I think at this stage, I mean, if you're playing in this game, how do you go about defending here? So you're definitely doing a Great Wall Gatehouse across the front here, upgrading this to a cannon emplacement, and putting a stone wall on the bottom. Okay, he's already got the stone wall. That pretty much makes you unstoppable at this point. But the trouble is his opponent is fighting without elite upgrades. They're about to come through, but he's jumped the gun a little bit, jumped the shark a little bit. Elite Samurai, Elite Onabagation now through. GUA with a massive number advantage here, and it looks like he may be attempting to push the issue. 3 sacred sites taken, still no siege. Keep that in mind. He's going to have a lot of trouble when it comes to pushing these outposts down. He needs to have battering rams, needs to have... I think you just got to go battering rams when it comes to this kind of thing. So he's going to look to try and take a fight here. If he can convert this, there's a good chance that he can convert into a potential victory as long as he's got that battering ram number coming out. A little bit of kiting continuing back here. No front line whatsoever. No spearmen. Only a handful of palace guards, but they're not even to be seen right here. Nesta Beast has gone down. The kiting continues. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Onabagation going to be working down those reinforcements. The Bagatia continue to close the gap. He's got archers together with those crossbows doing a wonderful job. The king of kiting, GUA, the micro madness man himself, able to do a decent job here. And have a look now. Somehow, how did the Japanese do that? Did you see that? I was expecting to see like a tiny little number there, but you know how? He's got that crazy economy that is absolutely kicking it. This is beautiful. 3.4k food per minute. That is the equivalent of 34 samurai a minute. There you go. That's some quick math for you. I just calculated that one. Look at this, by the way. How cheeky is this? Just stealing the big gold. Yeah, don't mind me. Just stealing the big gold. Just stealing your big gold, GUA. You don't need it, do you? You got taxes that you can collect. Exactly. GUA getting a bit hung up here on the outpost. And once again, I'm not going to say he's caught out of position, but you can see a whole bunch of samurai here. Is he just going only samurai? He's just doing only samurai at this point. 36. He's got a whole bunch of Bagatia in the queue, but he's going to have to continue kiting. GUA looking to try and get to Imperial. Nesta B going to come out. Don't know how effective it's going to be up against a mass samurai composition. And now looking to split up these units. You can see he's got the crossbow in the front. And I don't know how helpful it is for him to split up into multiple groups of these archers. I thought keeping them together probably made a bit more sense, but he's going to try his best to kite them out. We can hear those screams. I don't know whose screams those were, but it definitely didn't sound like Mike children. It sounded like the screams of the archers. Nesta B going to come out. GUA's in trouble. He's in trouble. Splitting up the army was probably the worst thing he could do, and you can see the timing from the Japanese has been incredible here. Keep in mind, he's got the extra health that's now going to be coming through as well. Even more upgrades on the way. Yaki Aya for that +4 damage, and GUA struggling to keep that head above water. He was thinking about going Imperial, but now he's had to drop a whole bunch of resources onto units. He's going to try and hold in this position, but unfortunately, he didn't go one way or the other. He didn't spam units, and he didn't go imp, which means now the front is open, and obviously once the front is open, that negative vil count is going to continue to get even higher at 51 at the moment. All of the cab and Onabagation are now through, and 51 to 54 to 56 to 58. We're not going to watch it anymore. It's too painful. It's too painful. Did he fix this up? He did. He had to delete this bad boy right here. We got it fixed up in the end. The poor GUA. Right now, you can feel him getting dragged down by the current. 73 Phil's now taken out. And it's just one of those things where at this stage of the game, like, this is just wave number 62. Wait until wave number 63 comes in. And that's when there's going to be real trouble. Take a look at this. We've got even more upgrades on the way. In for the Mounted Sams. Towards the south side. A whole bunch of stables, but unfortunately it's not going to matter. GUA tapping out, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Unfortunately, the Vomit is victorious. GUA, not so much. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch him live, though. Make sure you check him out, and of course, we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.